Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, in Indonesia and Malaysia, and good morning in Slovakia time. His Excellency, Director of Universitas Gunadarma, Ibu Profesor Dr. A.S. Margianti, SAMM, the honorable speakers, Professor Dr. Elena Horsky, Dr. Jacob Bercik, PhD, and Ibu Irina Mildawati, PhD, and also Dr. Lee Wahpeng, respectable students, lecturers, and also researchers from Slovakia, Malaysia, and also from Indonesia. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this remarkable webinar, which is held by 3 universities from 3 different countries: Universitas Gunadarma Indonesia, Tunku Abdul Rahman University College, Malaysia, and Slovak University of Agriculture, Slovakia. My name is Ikhwan Suyudi. It's an honor for me to be the host of this interactive webinar, which is entitled An Insight into the Impact of Information Technologies on Industry Revolution 4.0, Architecture, Industry, and Marketing, and the Importance of Global Multidisciplinary Research Collaboration. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah, God, the Almighty, who has given us healthy so we can join and participate in this special event. Today's webinar is aimed to facilitate youngsters and people across countries to have a platform to discuss and to share knowledge in a particular topic. The topic we discuss today revolves on the impact of current Industrial Revolution 4.0 across industries by having the perspective from the experts in manufacture, marketing, and architectural education. We would like also to highlight the importance of global multidisciplinary collaborative research in order to bring more innovation to the table. Ladies and gentlemen, Henry Ford once said that working done in coming together is a beginning. Staying together is a progress, and working together is a success. Therefore, we hope that through this webinar, we can open new window of opportunity for global collaboration. In this webinar, actually, there are 250 participants joining or registered in today's session. Colleagues who have not registered to the system can also join our webinar through our YouTube live platform. The participant is welcome to give their opinion or thought during the feedback session later by clicking the raise hand button. Ladies and gentlemen, to commence this program, we are going to listen to the national anthem of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the national anthem of Indonesia Raya.
Indonesia
Thank you. That was the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the webinar, allow me to read today's agenda. The first is opening remarks by Ibu Professor Dr. A.S. Margianti, SAMM, Director of Universitas Gunadarma. And then second is photo session. The third is keynote speech from Professor Elena Horsky from Slovak University of Agriculture, Slovakia. The fourth is presentations by three speakers or panelists that will be followed by feedback from panel. The speakers are Dr. Lee Wah Peng from Tunku Abdul Rahman University College, Malaysia. Mr. Jacob Bercik, PhD from Slovak University of Agriculture, Slovakia. And Ibu Irina Mildawati, PhD from Universitas Gunadarma. And then the next is a question and answer session from the participants. And the last is closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed to the first agenda, the opening remarks from Ibu Rector of Universitas Gunadarma. I would like to invite the Rector of Universitas Gunadarma, Ibu Professor Dr. A.S. Margianti, SAMM, to deliver speech and also to open the webinar officially. Please welcome Ibu Rector.
Thank you very much, Bapak Iwan. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, honorable speaker, ladies and gentlemen from Tunku Abdul Rahman University College, especially Dr. Lee, and also from Gunadarma University, Jakarta, Indonesia. And very good morning for Dekanka, Professor Elena Horska, also Dr. Jacob, and all participants of this webinar who are willing to join this very special friendship occasion. It is a very great honor to be part of this event. First of all, on behalf of Gunadarma University, I'm pleased to wish you a warm welcome of the seminar, an insight into the impact of information technology on Industry Revolution 4.0, architecture, industry, and marketing, and the importance of global multidisciplinary collaboration. The organization of this conference is a cooperation between University Gunadarma in Jakarta, Indonesia, Slovak University of Agriculture in Slovakia, and Tunku Abdul Rahman University College in Malaysia. The topic of webinar is selected since it is one of the current issue and challenge in the global economy. The progress of technology is reflected in the pace known as the Industrial Revolution 4.0. The COVID-19 pandemic encouraged society to evolve into the Society 5.0, which focus more on the human and society side in preparing the utilization of technology. It shows how the ICT is one of the crucial infrastructure in our life. Education institutions have to prepare students to take advantages of various technology, which is the main driven factor technologies in Industrial Revolution 4.0. Artificial intelligence, cloud computing, IoT as a physical system, big data will be used by most students in various disciplines. Preparing students to the advance of technology is a key of success factor in the future. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, also the honorable speaker, Gunadarma University is widely known as an ICT-based university. It has been providing higher degree education for public in Indonesia for more than a quarter of century. We have around 40,000 students from undergraduate to the doctorate degree. Gunadarma University consists of 9 faculties and provide 42 programs. The faculties are computer science, engineering, economic and business, language and culture, psychology, communication science, planning and civil, medical, pharmacy as well, health science. To provide better service to our students, Gunadarma University campus are in 12 locations with far more than 50 buildings around Jakarta. Our campus is well integrated with ICT facilities from virtual class, digital library, and repository. Integration digital lab, digital locker, electronic portfolio, online bootcamp, integrated and mobile administration system, etc., etc. We believe that collaboration play important role in increasing the quality of education and research, and also recognition and reputation. The bottom line of the collaboration is the effort to establish the connection between people to people in different countries. We have partners around the world from Vanuatu, Korea, Japan, China, Sweden, Germany, France, Slovakia, Serbia, United States, and some countries in Central Asia such as Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, University Gunadarma keep broadening the collaboration network. In this occasion, Universitas Gunadarma or Gunadarma University established a new collaboration with Tunku Abdul Rahman University of Kuala, Malaysia. Each year, this event brings a spirit to create a collaborative atmosphere among many institutions. This great event happened due to work of several parties and people. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all to the people who made this webinar the success that it was. Firstly, please allow me to express my special thanks and appreciation to all excellent partners for a good cooperation the way along and also for their trust to Gunadarma University. Secondly, I also like to express my gratitude to all speakers who share their invaluable knowledge to the participants. Allow me also to express gratitude in organizing team for their commitment, effort, and dedication in undertaking their own tasks to bring the success to this webinar. Finally, we owe our gratitude to all the webinar participants for their contribution to the intellectual course during the conference, and also to volunteers who have participated in creating and shaping the webinar into a valuable experience for each and every one of us. As closing remark, as closing remark, let's say thanks to all the Lord Almighty God for all His blessing on us. And hereby, I officially open this webinar. We are looking forward to your visit to Gunadarma University in Indonesia after this coronavirus. And last but not least, please stay healthy and please stay happy to face our future. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ibu Professor Margianti, for opening this webinar officially. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this event also reflecting one of the implementation of collaboration between Universitas Gunadarma and other universities, such as Slovak University of Agriculture, Slovakia. Therefore, for the next agenda, I invite Professor Dr. Elena Horsky to deliver the keynote speech. Professor Dr. Elena Horsky is the Dean of Faculty of Economics and Management at the Slovak University of Agriculture in Nitra, Slovakia. The topic of her speech is about neuromarketing. Please welcome Professor Elena. Time is yours.
Thank you very much. Milá pani rektorka, dear Mrs. Rector, Professor Margianti, dear colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, listeners from Gunadarma University, Tunku Abdul Rahman University College in Malaysia, also listeners from Slovak University of Agriculture in Nitra, or any other listeners around the world. First of all, I would like to thanks to Professor Margianti and Gunadarma University for this initiative to organize a webinar about the further steps and about the possibility to create framework for discussing ideas for further collaboration in the sphere of research, education, or any other activities. I will use my presentation to highlight some moments I consider as very important for mutual cooperation. It is over 10 years what we can talk about really intensive and fruitful cooperation between Gunadarma University and Slovak University of Agriculture, and mainly or mostly with the Faculty of Economics and Management. Of course, before Corona crisis, we organized the joint conferences, we exchange our scholars, students, or teachers. To highlight some more. But now, during Corona crisis, we have to move our cooperation from university offices to home offices, but still we have a virtual environment to talk together and be connected. And I guess this is the most important. As I said, within a period of 10 years, we have had a chance to create physical or present places for our cooperation. So we have, I would say, offline meeting points of mutual cooperation. In 2015, we welcomed in Slovakia a delegation from Gunadarma University, led by Professor Margianti, rector of the university, Made, and other colleagues, and together with Indonesian ambassador in the Slovak Republic, we opened so-called Indonesia Corner at our faculty. This Indonesia Corner was the first platform, and still it is the absolutely first platform when we can meet personally teachers, colleagues from Indonesia, from Slovakia, and collaborate in the sphere of research. As I remember, several master and PhD students from Indonesia participated and used these premises. An outcome of our cooperation are several diploma theses and several research papers. Since the beginning of our cooperation, we were talking about the possibilities to work more intensively in the sphere of neuromarketing and implementation of neuromarketing in research. So in 2018, we opened the Laboratory of Consumer Studies, and his director, Engineer Jakub Berčík, is here today with us to deliver speech about the practical implementation of neuromarketing in research or commercial projects. In 2018, unfortunately, rector of Gunadarma University couldn't participate, but we welcome special guest ambassador of Indonesia in Slovakia again. So she participated at the occasion of opening ceremony. And last year, we were very happy to welcome Professor Margianti again in Slovakia, and we celebrated 60th anniversary of establishment of our Faculty of Economics and Management, which is the second best economic faculty in Slovak Republic. According to latest results of Stimago ranking, we can say that our Slovak University of Agriculture in Nitra is the second best Slovak university in terms of research and outputs in renowned databases as Scopus and Web of Science are. So let's talk now about research challenges that are in front of us. not only with Gunadarma University, but also other partners, because always when Rector Margianti says that these are our partners, automatically I believe that we can work in triangle of cooperation, and we can include other partners for cooperation. As our Faculty of Economics and Management is focused on business studies, marketing, economics, psychology, I divided research challenges into two main groups. The first group is a topic of Industrial Revolution 4.0, which is the main topic of this webinar. And we can include topics like machine-to-machine communication, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. We can include biometric marketing or neuromarketing technologies in connection with psychology. And everything what we want to do is to understand deeply consumer behavior or behavior of business organization, and to predict what and how people or organization will behave. And because we are working in market environment, everything what we are doing for benefit of our customers or also for benefit of our organizations. But because we are living in a really difficult pandemic and corona crisis, all global issues are now interconnected, unfortunately, with a new illness, COVID-19 and coronavirus. And when we search topics which are actual now, always we search for impact of corona crisis on ongoing humans being life and on ongoing business life. During corona crisis, I believe that also in Indonesia and also in Slovakia, we have been thinking about our lives, our beliefs, our norms, our values, what really matters in human being lives. If it's a question only of profit or trade, or we have to consider quality of people's life, quality of education, quality of our environment, and sustainability issues. As you know, European Union announced Green Deal as a big document and big challenge to decrease or eliminate residues and to save environment for further generation. So corona crisis teaches us probably and provides lessons what to do in the future in the sphere of environmental studies, in the sphere of psychology, in the sphere of human being life, but also in the sphere of business, because everything is very much interconnected. During corona crisis, we had to use our virtual environment to be together and to work virtually. So from home offices, we organize our conferences. From home office now, we organize this webinar. And I believe that this kind of communication will be very important also in the future. So when we talk about impact of corona crisis of global issues, we can think about the research topics like impact of corona crisis on trade, our lives, media's role, consumer behavior, beliefs, but also we can talk about intercultural studies and interdisciplinary studies, because we know that each country, each government took different decisions and tools to fight with this situation. And because I have been working in internationalization for several years, this is something what I have to mention here. So I want to show how we can connect current research topics with challenges in the sphere of internationalization. So we can talk about project activities even we are not meeting now physically. So we are meeting virtually, and I guess we know each other enough to discuss details of several projects which can be run in the near future. Of course, after Corona crisis, you are invited to use our facilities of Laboratory of Consumer Studies. During Corona crisis, you are invited to conduct similar seminars as we have now, and also during semester to conduct and organize virtual lessons and seminars for our students in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Slovakia. And I guess this will enrich teaching process for your and for our students. And what is very important, we have to think about the outputs, how to deal with outputs, and how to go on jointly and publish high quality research papers in good journals and create good publications. Regarding a proposal of areas for cooperation, I have here several examples, and because I am coming from the Slovak University of Agriculture, and mainly we are talking about agriculture, environment, and food industry and trade, my examples are related mainly to food industry. So we can search impact of COVID-19 on retail sector, not only food, but also non-food sector. We know that there have been some studies already done, for instance, in the sphere, how people behave before shopping, during shopping, or after shopping. And these two pictures are from some French studies. And we can see that there are different roads and different behavior inside of the store. So maybe now people go to do shopping less frequently. They spend longer time in the shop, but they don't feel so comfortable among other people because they try to ensure social distance. So there are less stops on their journey inside of the store. So this is one proposal for real research project or small research comparative study. Another area are here. Now, in connection with Corona crisis, we think about healthy issues. So we are really thinking what is really healthy to eat and how to live healthy. Also, when we are entering the store or any other institution, any other building, we think about the health safety, how comfortable we feel entering certain premises. This is something different comparing to previous, before Corona crisis situation. So healthy food and health safety are priority from customer point of view, but also from, let's say, retail or organization point of view. Another big issue is online sale, how people behave, what is really important to buy. So as I read some papers on World Economic Forum website, for instance, in China, the consumption of lipsticks decreased and the consumption of eye makeup increased. So it's also connected with a new fashion to use face mask to protect yourself. So this kind of very specific consumer behavior actions can be also searched as a comparative study. Of course, advertising and social media role, because we know that during lockdown, for instance, social media or TV were the only resource of information. So we can rely on social media or not, or how, and what to advertise and how. I think that Jakub will tell you some small case study, how people behave and what really people appreciate when they are in situation on lockdown, sitting at home, and they want to keep safety. And they request certain feeling that they appreciate some safety feelings. Another issue and very critical issue is tourism industry, which we know, and other services. So because of lockdown, many companies are in troubles in Slovakia and everywhere in the world. So we can think about a way not only to search what's happened, but what are the consequences. And we as academics can use our research results and knowledge and experiences to advise what to do and what kind of values to provide to somehow manage consumer behavior. And what is very important, and it is in red color on my slide, how to provide positive customer experiences. And I believe that this is like the key term for our further research when we want to say, okay, our research is academic research, but not only academic research. It can be a sort of commercial research where we can provide certain proposals for business sphere. And also I believe that there are differences on customer perception. What is a positive situation for a Malaysian customer, Indonesian customer, and European customer? So when we are thinking about cooperation, and Slovakia is included, so you can rely on us, and we are able to gather databases and information from other European countries. So definitely we can include Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic. Now we have very strong link with Italy, and we know how dramatic situation in Italy was. So we are able to create consortium of several European institutions, universities, plus Indonesia and Malaysia, and create the platform for new projects. As I know that you are here from different areas, it's important to say that our research has to keep intercultural approach and also interdisciplinary approach. And also in our research, we have to benefit from transfer of know-how. This is also very important. In the case of food area, we can include research, sensory studies, food microbiology, psychological analysis, and nutrition marketing. And I guess nutrition marketing is very much connected with healthy issues, so important nowadays. As a basic methods, we are here to use eye tracking, using sensory marketing and so-called biometric marketing, which I believe will be more in the focus of Jakub Berczyk presentation. So that's why my proposals for cooperation, and I believe that we will find again some interesting and innovative topics for ways how to go further together. I wish you from long distance good health. As Professor and Rector Margianti said, stay healthy, be happy, and I am very much looking forward to meeting you in person after Corona crisis. So thank you very much. I will stay connected, and I am here also to answer any of your questions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Alena from Slovak University of Agriculture, Slovakia, for your presentation and sharing of the keynote on the neuromarketing. And this must be very interesting. Later we can discuss further, Professor Alena, with the other panelists. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we proceed to the next agenda, that is the presentation from the speakers or panelists, and this will be followed by feedback panels. And for the first, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Lee Wah Peng from Tunku Abdul Rahman University College, Malaysia. He is currently working in Center for Postgraduate Studies and Research. The topic that will be delivered is about Industry 4.0, technologies driving manufacturing, digital transformation. Dr. Lee, the floor is yours. Dr. Lee?
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank University Gunadarma to invite TAUC, Tunku Abdul Rahman University College, to participate in this webinar. I would like to say good afternoon to the colleague from my college, listener from Gunadarma University, and also from Slovak University of Agriculture in Slovakia. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Lee Wah Peng here. Okay, so I go to the next one. First of all, I would like to give a very brief introductions of Tunku Abdul Rahman University College. Our main campus here is in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. And we have 5 different branches all over in Malaysia. So we have one in Penang, one in Perak, one in Pahang, Johor, and Sabah. We have students around 29,000 from 7 faculty and a few centers that we have. Today's topic is slightly different from just now mentioned. So the topics is the importance of Industry 4.0, manufacturing change integration, and the future development trends. I would like to share with you the TAUC research and development toward helping the industry, particularly in SME, to implement and adopt Industry 4.0. Okay, I'll start with the very basic understanding of distributed manufacturing. I will not go into very details, but I tell you the reason and problem statement that facing by many of the SME throughout the whole world. It's not only Malaysia. Okay, so in the distributed manufacturing, you have different stakeholders, or in other way, we say we have a different SME. Now, the SME definition, like for example, in Malaysia, the employee is less than 200 for manufacturing. If you for other sectors or services sector, then less than 75 employee. Of course, they also define based on their revenue. Okay, so there are different SME in the manufacturing change, meaning that not a single company start from material until distribution. So it will be handled by different stakeholders, registered as a different enterprises in a supply chain. Now, SME by sectors, this is from Malaysia. So Malaysia's services SME by sector is 89.2 in terms of all establishment of SME in Malaysia. 5.3 from manufacturer, 4.3 from constructions, 1.1 from agriculture, and 0.1 for mining. So you can see from here, SME by sector, we have more than 90% is in services and manufacturing, and the majority will be in services. Okay, so I give you the simple statistics of Malaysia. I believe that Indonesia and majority of the developing country more or less will have the same numbers that I show you over here. So 99.2% business establishment Malaysia are SME, 32% GDP, 59 employment, and 90% of total export in Malaysia. Now, why this is so important? Okay, let's say if I give examples of, let's say you have a handmade wood hood carving here. Now, this to make the artwork that you need, you also consider as a manufacturing. Why? Because you start from raw material. Like say, for example, you purchase the very good wood from Sabah, for example, from Malaysia, but you are not producing any artwork because you only producing just wood. Okay, so you're part of the stakeholders in the supply chain. Now then you supply to Indonesia, for example, for production. So Indonesia buy the wood from Malaysia, and then you start to craft it into a piece of artwork that you can sell to other people. Now, after you completed in Indonesia, one part of the product manufacturing chain, you sell to, let's say you sell to Slovakia, you sell to UK, you know, in the Europe country, or you even can sell to US. So you can see that the change is globally. So we call it globalization in business. Okay. I give you one example. This is a unique watermelon. Okay, you can buy the mold from China. China supply the mold. Okay, and then after that you use the mold to, you know, in productions to grow a watermelon in square shape. And then of course you grow in a square shape. You don't sell in Indonesia, because you sell in Indonesia, you don't the you know, the price or the revenue you make may not be as high as compared to you sell to Australia. Australia, one watermelon is 200 US dollar, no, Australian money. It's close to 1,000 per pieces. 1,000. So if I grow a watermelon, I sell in Malaysia, I only can sell about 20 to 30 ringgit. If you sell to Australia, you can sell it close to 1,000. You can imagine the value creation, how much it increase. So we as SME in a developing country, we can produce food, we can produce a lot of good artwork, but if we do not have any channel, okay, we do not do integration of the supply chain, we cannot find the good buyer from us. So a lot of a trading company, big company, okay, so they will monopolize and utilize all this, and they make a lot of money from us. Okay. Now, if you look at the this SME in the supply chain, you notice that there's a common product value proposition. First, the quality is good, because SME is not mass production. They produce a small quantity, so they can control the quality in a very high level. So meaning that you can sell for a good price, right? It's not like manufacturing. Second, it's unique because they produce by hand for example, a small quantity. And it's very personalized because, you know, because of small quantity, and it's very localized. Localized meaning that you can you know, include in a lot of local content, you know, because like, for example, like you make it Indonesia, you make in Malaysia, China, or even in Africa. You know, the products that they make is very localized and very unique. Of course, it's very thoughtful because it involves a lot of creativity, innovation. It's not like manufacturing. You make one piece, everything the same. This is not. It's very thoughtful and very green because they are not in mass. Okay, so this actually, if you look carefully, these are the strengths of the SME. Okay. Now, but if you're SME in as a stakeholder, one of the SME in supply chain, okay, in a distributed manufacturing, you have challenges. We are small. SME are small. So they have 5 challenges. First, lack of information. Meaning that if I'm buyer from Europe or from Australia, from Japan, Korea, what information you can give it to me, convince me that your work is good? You have no way. And you cannot invest so much money because you are SME. Okay. Second, you do not have any real-time data to show that genuine, for example. Shelf life and weightage also. Processing delay between the country to country, and inefficient of logistics. So you look at the red color around, that is where the product value drop when you cross over from one stakeholder to the other one, meaning that you transfer from one SME to the other SME, particularly when you're talking about globalization. Okay. Next one. Now, how about the e-commerce platform? People say, okay, I go to e-commerce platform. You must understand e-commerce, the work of the e-commerce platform. Actually, you will not be able to see your value proposition behind the e-commerce platform, right? You don't see, you don't know. So the e-commerce Based in the current stage here, actually is only for mass production. You buy from a big volume and then you post it into the e-commerce website, whatever, Alibaba, whatever, you sell. And you sell, of course, because you buy from certain factory. And it's very general product because it's never be personalized, okay, never be unique. And of course, at the end here, you compete for price because everyone sell the same thing. Okay, because of the pricing issue, then they will be sacrificed with the quality because you need to make more money. You cannot survive. People can buy more things or can sell more cheaper. If buy more volume, they can sell more cheaper. So the only way is sacrifice quality. So there's a reason why e-commerce is not the solution because it has its own limitation. Okay. Now, there's a reason why we need to have a manufacturing chain integration. Behind the e-commerce website here, you need to share information among the SME. It's not a very easy task because this is a separate entity. It's not a big company. If big company easier, you spend about 100 million, 200 million, you can have it, no problem. You can buy from SAP. But SME not able to do it. So you look at the traditional e-commerce versus the manufacturing chain integration for SME. Okay, you can see from here, they are actually, by doing the manufacturing chain integration, we have an advantage of all the strength of SME and create a more revenue that you supposed to, to have it. Okay. So that's the reason why come with Industrial 4.0 proposition over here. So this is not come from me, it comes from Germany, from the government of Germany. And they define in terms of business perspective, they say that organizing and controlling the entire manufacturing value chain across product life cycle in order to fulfill both the personalized customer and supplier wishes. This is not defined by me, it's defined by Industrial 4.0 platform in 2013 by Germany. Okay. Now, it's not that easy because say in a sentence is quite straightforward, but how to implement, what kind of challenges you face by the SME. I list up for you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 challenges by SME. First, awareness, lack of awareness, skill and training, talent may not have, economic of skill you don't have, not like big company, infrastructure you don't have, investment capital also very high, you may not have also, regulation and policy, because government also not understand what they should do and what kind of policy they should have. So it confused the whole market about Industrial 4.0. Okay. You see, actually we have a lot of projects here to overcome these challenges and helping the SME. I show you some example over here. First one, how are you going to tackle the challenges of awareness, skill and training and talent development? Okay. This is a product that developed in TAUC with the strategic partner of one company outside. We call it personalized online learning to promote Industrial 4.0. This POL web portal is different. This is a portal specifically for Industrial 4.0. Consists of 11 pillars, 20 different fields, and 5 levels. The reason here we want to create a POL platform because different level people understanding differently. So you cannot use a very high-end cost and apply for a very low level of worker which is at the production floor. So manager and the engineer and the technicians, they are all different. So they have to be treated differently. We call it personalized online learning. So you can see from here, you can schedule the courses. You can select the pillar you want to learn, either from the IoT, big data, AI. You can select your field, whether you are in business, you are in ethic, you are in application, or you're in historian. You can choose whatever you want. You can choose a level from a beginner, from advanced, from the introductory, you can choose. And then the module here, you can play about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, you can combine them to form a course for you. Okay. So this is what we do it to overcome. Now we need to invite university to provide the content because this web we're going to give free. So you can access to it to learn and to promote and learn how to implement. Next one is economic skill. How to overcome economic skill? Because if you ask SME to be alone, they have no skills because they are not big company. So we in TAIUC, we will have a project called Information Toolbox. This is basically target for agriculture, because food is always the main concern. Everyone need to eat. Okay, so we have to target for food. We call it AlgoLink in Malaysia. So this AlgoLink basically is a common online platform to link the SME website information into the agro food supply chain in Malaysia, so that they can link to each other. They know each other. It can create they can create the scale. Know each other. They can increase their sales globally and locally, domestic and global market. Okay. Now, this is examples of the AlgoLink. You can see from here, this is a crop of Malaysia, because we are promoting Malaysian crops. Okay, this AlgoLink is not a Wikipedia, it's not a Google search. It's a specific algo food industry in Malaysia. All the crops here grow in Malaysia. You can find it over here. Okay, then you have a supply chain. You have a link of all the SME, and then you can go direct to their website, and then you can understand them. Of course, there are a lot of business activity coming on. I'm not going to cover. This project here actually is working with the Malaysian Productivity Corporation. This is a government organization. We work with them because they are targeting to help the SME to increase the productivity. Now, after that, the next three are the infrastructures and investment capital and regulation and policy. How are we going to do it? Now, if you have an Industrial 4.0 ecosystem, you have a many SME, you need to do connectivity, because from one stakeholder to the other stakeholder is connectivity. So connectivity, we cannot ask all SME do their own connectivity, because everyone has to spend about 300 to 400 or maybe around 100,000 US dollars, every one of them. Economy of scale is make no sense, because every one of them spend 100,000 US dollars. You have a 10 will be more than a few $million. Okay, so we have to take we as a higher institutional higher learning, we have to take one step forward to build a framework and a middleware to manage all this connectivity for all the SMEs in Malaysia. This is what TAIUC do. We call it manufacturing change management. What is inside the MCM? Of course, we are not to tell you all the technical terms. I only tell you what this MCM will handle. You will handle all this information. Real-time process data, you cannot get it done in this way. Real-time data. We handle all the photo and images, audio record, text and messages, report and article. As long as any data or information that you have and you can supply to your customer or supplier and increase the product value or create product value, okay, these are assets we can share among the supply chain. Okay. Now, MCM will be used by all the SME to connect their business asset into the Industrial 4.0 ecosystem. So meaning that we build and we let the SME to connect. So we concentrate all the resources and the energy to build one framework and middleware suitable for SME. Okay, but why I say this, because we don't see any company in the world willing to spend that money to build a system to connect company to company and give you affordable price. Okay, we should do it. Okay, what are projects inside here, the MCM? Of course, I'm not going to detail, I'll show you some of them. One of them is called Industrial Asset Space Alliance. This one is actually a web portal to manage the registration of an organization ID, allow you to get the resources of MCM, provide you the information, activity related to Industrial 4.0 and digital transformation. Okay, this one is in the almost end of the development. And then we have a software called Digital Integration Planner software. This one also in development, going to finish. This is a software that to give the SME a simple way to create their asset and share in the ecosystem. We have one more here, it's called Enterprise Data Editor software. This software here is also provided to the SME to create a HMI, human machine interface, so that they can share the document, they can share whatever information, including the real-time data, together with their counterpart or stakeholders in the supply chain. So what is the MCM value proposition over here? First, it must be affordable to all SME. Okay, so second, it must able to expand business globally, because as MCM is online, is digitized ecosystem. So meaning that it's cross-border. You have no problem of crossover the border. So basically, it's a borderless solution. The third is sovereignty on asset data. Okay, so because data sometimes is very sensitive and very they don't want to share, and they want to keep at themselves. They don't want to share in the cloud. So MCM actually has a lot of approval stages. How do you approve who can get your data, who cannot, how long you need to give them the data. All this management will be handled by MCM. Okay, so because you don't want your your stakeholders or your customer supplier to access infinite time of data, so that they can study your trend. So MCM had to manage all this sovereignty on asset data. The fourth one is standardization in support, because if you go for different software or different middleware or framework, many of them, then you will diversify all your resources to support different kind of platform or or framework. Then you make very difficult to support. So that we have to standardize it. So the vision here is to helping the SMSME to connect and venture into global business opportunity, product value creation, and provide high quality services in order to achieve a sustainable business development together. I want to stress the word together. Okay. Okay, in order to show you how the MCM framework and the middleware are working, TAUC set up a showcase, show you a complete supply chain from customer to the grower at a very low level one. So you can see from here, I show you a showcase here is from the personalized e-commerce on the mixed juice ordering and production. This is a showcase here. We are now developing it, almost going to get it done in, I think, early next year. Okay, so you have a PEC apps, okay, to order. Then you go to the personalized mixed juice, and then you can do one-piece manufacturing productions, and then you can grow your ginger. Okay. So this is a project here. It's called personalized e-commerce apps. It allows to customer to select bottle you want, select the volume you want, what kind of juice you want to mix, what is the sweetness you want, including the design label. You can design your own, and the photo and print message you want on the label. So you imagine that you buy a Coca-Cola, the printing label on the bottle are personalized, one piece. Okay. So this is almost done, the showcase. We also create the one-piece manufacturing line in TAUC to do and to fulfill this one-piece manufacturing here. Okay. This is how it looks like. This is a technology partner from the industry. So we will have a collaboration with Huayong, Avantech, Delta, and Flexing. These are all very big companies. You check and see their background is very big one. So they were the funding in kind of their parts to build this one-piece manufacturing line in TAUC. Okay, so you can see this is under construction. I think we are expected to get it completion in the second quarter of 2021, including the integrations of the MCM into this line next year. Okay, we also have IoT and robots so that we can produce some data for us to know how the ginger is growing. So you can see this two row here actually is a vertical rack. So we can do a vertical farming. Okay, so and then this is a robot here running in between the racks here and collecting some data. Okay, and then you'll be upload to the MCM, and then after that we will share among the supply chains. Okay, this is a construction. Okay, I believe you're going to end the completion in fourth quarter of this year. Okay, so I'm going to finish now. This is Professor Yoran Karam is a very famous of reconfigurable manufacturing system back to year 2000. At that time, there's no robot, there's no IoT, but he have a very far-sighted. He said the customer sent the requirement, and he get the product in a timely manner. We predict that this will be the norm 10 years from now. He has an interview, okay, with a reporter in 2018. So now it's 2020, 8 more years to go. So actually, TAUC is built a showcase to prove Professor Yoran Karam is right. Okay. Then you say, okay, personalized is the future. You look at the Coca-Cola, the whole market rise more than 2% just because the bottle print with a customer name. whole worldwide 2%. Okay, so personalized is a trend. So I'm finished. We're going to have a conference in digital transformation in ITDX in 2021. I welcome you to come to visit us. At the same time, we have a look of our our whole showcases, and hopefully we can have a collaboration with the University of Gunadarma in Slovakia. This is this year ICTXA. Okay, so I finished. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lee, from Tunku Abdul Rahman University College, Malaysia.
Yes.
Yes, so far you have discussed about Industry 4.0 in manufacture, and also the impact that bring to digital transformation. Now I invite, before we come to the next speaker, I would like to invite participants who are going to address questions to all of the panelists today. We have 4 speakers, Professor Horsky, and then Dr. Lee, Ibu Irina, and also Dr. Jacob Bercik. Please, participants, if you want to ask questions, we have time. Yeah, it seems we have to wait for the participants to address question. And now I have an idea after listening to the speech from Dr. Lee and also Professor Horsky. We see Industry 4.0 refers to the 4th industrial revolution in transforming manufacturing by the implementation of new technologies and innovations, particularly in digital technology, cyber physical systems, and biology, and also hardware automations. And in Indonesia, we have this experience that there are 4 major challenges present in Industry 4.0 in Indonesia. The first is the capabilities issues. The second is funding problems. The third is lack of technology or digital infrastructure. And the 4th is system suppliers for Industry 4.0, and the regulation and policy overlaps that require further synchronization. So the question is, what is your thought regarding this? Does this also happen in your country? Maybe you can show us the similar cases in your country. Could you please answer, Professor Elena, perhaps?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I think these 4 questions and issues are very actual for each country, and nowadays they are connected, as I said, also with impact of Corona.
Right.
So for instance, yesterday I talked to managing director of Milbauer Technologies, a large company in Nitra region, using German capital.
Yeah.
So for instance, nowadays they are building new facilities, and they have planned, they invest in research and development, but on the other side, they have quite atmosphere in production lines because there are no orders from customers.
Right.
So at one side, we need to invest to research and development and to implement all kind of advantages of Industry 4.0.
Yes.
But at the other side, we don't have a cash flow or normal conditions in production processes and orders from customers. Also in our country, which is a very, very small country with only 5 million inhabitants, which is uncomparable to Indonesia or Malaysia, so it's less than in Jakarta, probably. We suffer from lack of resources. So because of Corona crisis, there are predictions that economic growth will be decreased by 10%. So what they are doing now, they decrease budget for research and development and for education, for instance, because they need to protect industry and small or medium-sized enterprises. So situation is, as you said, that yes, all we believe that the research and development and all kinds of technologies are needed, and they are priority of the day, but at the end of the day, we come to the lack of resources and lack of investment.
Yes.
So there are predictions that after 2021, so if this crisis will be overcome, then we will be in the same situation as in 2019. So it's like 2 years delay, and then we will think more realistically about investments in these areas.
Okay, yeah.
This
Thank you, Professor Horsky.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Right. Dr. Lee, are you still with us? Dr. Lee?
Yeah, sure. I'm here.
Yes, okay. Well, the same question, I think. What is your thought regarding with the situation? Does it also happen in Malaysia?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, this is a very good question. And actually, Malaysia also considered as a developing country, similarly to Indonesia. The only difference here is Malaysia population have about 30 million. Compared to Indonesia, you have more. So meaning that to do a business, SME need to go global. If you want to go global, you need an infrastructure, you need an ecosystem to go global. So the question that you raise is very practical. Okay, the first question here is capability issue. Okay, I believe that because of the many people have a different thought of Industrial 4.0 and a lot of workshop, a lot of seminars. Okay, so there are a lot of misconceptions, a lot of course, bias to certain side because of business in nature. But in order to overcome these problems, as I mentioned to you just now, we can use the POL, personalized online learning portal, that to help to make great awareness, skill and training and talent development. But we need a lot of collaboration with IHL, maybe in Malaysia or Indonesia, to create a content so that we can provide free for all these SME. Okay, first one. Second, funding problem. Funding problems here, actually, you will refer to the challenges here is because of the economy of scale. Because someone fund you, they want you to create a certain revenue, because funding also need KPI. And also investment capital also very high, because you may need some money for SMI to develop. So funding, like in Malaysia here, we have Industrial Forward, okay, by MIDA. Under the MIPI here, we give RA program, we have intervention funding. I'm not sure about Indonesia, but because this is a global business, this is integrate manufacturing chain. Manufacturing chain integration is a global. Okay, so we can go for international funding, for example, like Newton Fund, or even you can work with the Fraunhofer Society in Germany, because IUC also has this intention to work together with the Fraunhofer Society in Germany, so that we can work under their institute. They have a 72 institute. We can choose one of it to work together with them and get funding from German's government. Okay. The third one is a lack of technology digital infrastructure. This one I already mentioned. We need to have one framework or middleware to allow a functional software or allow certain program to use it and create an ecosystem. And that is what I mentioned is MCM. This is under a development of IUC and with collaboration with some others industry and other universities also. Number 4 is a system supplier for Industrial 4.0. This one again, system supplier is where to build the infrastructures. Okay, so we need to establish a standardization. Okay, and then By using the IHL in individual country like in Malaysia, we plan to work together with IEM, Institute Engineer Malaysia, Malaysia Board of Technology. We work with the Federation of Manufacturing in Malaysia. We work with MPC also. So they need to involve a lot of the institution to push, to adopt certain standards so that they can implement and you can train their own people in the university or in vocational schools to teach them in a different level and support different level in building this ecosystem. Number 5 is the regulation and the policy overlapping. This one we need to work together with the government, closely with the government agency. This one we do it very aggressively in Malaysia. Okay, we work with many government agencies so that they can have a more friendly regulation and a timely policy to support the implementation of Industrial 4.0. So we cannot be away from them. We have to be closer to them because they are policy maker. Okay, they are not technologies. So we have to work hand by hand with them. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, and also Prof. Elena. Now let us proceed to the next speaker. We still have time later for participants to address questions to Prof. Elena and also to Dr. Lee. However, we still have 2 more speakers, and I'll let me continue with our second speaker is Mr. Jacob Percik, PhD. Mr. Jacob Percik, PhD is a lecturer at Department of Marketing and Trade from Slovak University of Agriculture, Slovakia. And he will be presenting the marketing point of view as the result of Industrial Revolution 4.0. Mr. Jacob Percik, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jakub Percik. I work as an assistant professor at the Department of Marketing and Trade, Slovak University of Agriculture in Nitra. I'm also the director of the Laboratory of Consumer Studies, and my research profilation is neuromarketing, consumer neuroscience, retailing, and e-commerce. Today, I would like to tell you a few words about neuromarketing and techniques which are using at our university and our university startup, and of course, a few words about our Laboratory of Consumer Studies. So first, I would like to start with neuromarketing in general. Neuromarketing is an interdisciplinary field which combines economy, psychology, neuroscience, and IT technology. There are 2 terms, but both means the same. As you can see, the neuromarketing and consumer neuroscience, these 2 terms. Neuromarketing is more typical for business, and consumer neuroscience is more typical for academic area. And as you can see on these slides, this type of research can be done in laboratory and real conditions. So we start from a laboratory or some office to the real conditions. Why is neuromarketing so important? During my lessons, I explained to my students the importance of neuromarketing on the ICE ideology part, which is about the C, representing conscious reactions, which are connected with traditional research methods, but much larger part of ICE, which is under the bottom, represent unconscious reactions, which are connected with neuromarketing or consumer neuroscience. And since we know that the making decisions process depends more on unconscious level, it is very important and necessary to implement to to the market with using the research tools of neuromarketing, because we can find out the real feeling of people, the real emotions, how people react on products, on some stimuli in real or simulated conditions. Now I would like to show you a video how we start with neuromarketing research in Slovak conditions. Maybe it will be better for better perspective for you how it works. So we start with testing the accent lighting in simulated conditions. We tested the different types of light, for example, LED light, metal halogenide light, fluorescent light, and halogen light, and we compare how people react. So it was for better explanation. And maybe you are asking yourself, why is consumer neuroscience for so important? So the answer is very simple, because on market there are many fails of traditional research methods. In many times the traditional methods like questionnaires, focus groups, interviews provide irrelevant informations because of people who don't have time properly think about the research questions. Sometimes they don't understand the questions. In case of sensitive issues, and many questions cannot be truthfully answered, because human brains obtains a lot of informations every millisecond, so which are filtered. So that is the reason why people cannot be truthfully. And of course, some examples. Company Tropicana spent 30% day turnover because they have changed their package according to the traditional research methods with focus groups, and they changed their legendary package, orange with the straw, on package with the glasses with the orange juice. Maybe if they would be more effective, maybe eye tracking would be more effective for them, because they would know how people can identify a new package of orange juice, because the problem was the people didn't identify it in the shelves in the stores. Another example is, for example, company Coca-Cola in 1985. They have asked people in questionnaire if they would prefer a new product with the name New Coke. Everyone has told yes, but after 1 year, they had to withdraw it from the market because nobody buy it. So that was the big problem for this company. And maybe new marketing can provide more detailed information how people react on these marketing stimuli. In this type of research, we have to speak about the ethical aspects, and of course, some rules of consumer neuroscience. The main ethical aspects of biometric and new emerging research are privacy of consumers, safety of data, and quality of data interpretations. We need the confirmations of each respondent in the following of respecting of his personal data. Processing obtained data have to be very strictly protected. On the market, there are many companies which provide this type of research without the consultations with the professionals from the given areas. So in our team, we have the professionals from these different types of areas, for example, neurologists and psychologists and etc. So it is very important to collaborate with these and other people. In case of theoretical background of new marketing methods, there are two types of authors, but from my point of view, we can divide new marketing methods on two big groups. First are biometric methods and second neuroimaging methods. As you can see, biometric can be split on autonomic method and somatic method. Somatic method can be influenced by the people, but autonomic no. For example, if someone knows that his or her eyes are monitored, he or she can change the visual attentions. But of course, if we using, for example, heart rate variability, it is not possible. In case of neuroimaging methods, we can divide them on electric methods and blood flow measures. Measuring blood flow needs the complicated technology, for example, fMRI. So in our country, we work only with electrical, typically with electroencephalography. So on this slide, you can see some devices which we typically use in this type of research. The best solution is a combination, not only the traditional, but also new marketing research. At the same time, in case of new marketing research, it is necessary to combine two methods, minimum, from my point of view, it is minimum methods. For example, when we use electroencephalography, we can detect participant emotions by different stimulants, and with eye tracking, we can see where the participant is looking at. Now I would like to show a video how can be done the test of ads in our lab, and of course maybe some e-commerce test with testing user experience or user interface of web, self-optimizations and pay-per-click ads, etc. So you will see the Slovak ad, unfortunately in Slovak language, but maybe useful for you will be to see some outputs from this research.
Uchádzači v teste. Čo? Krúžkujeme, nekrížikujeme. Kto krúžkuje, boduje. A kto má bodov dosť, získa. Čo? Získa zľavu? Ako? No čím?
We have used two biometric methods. In this case, fixed eye tracking and face reading. In case of visual attention, you can see fixation dots. And in case of face reading, here is a face reading picture. You can see the graph of valence. This is valence, and positive values means in this case, because we are over the line, it means positive emotions. And in this graph, you can see the level of emotional attentions, and negative values here means lower level of emotions, attentions during ad stimuli. So maybe some basic explanations how it works when we test participants during the looking at ads.
Viac bodov, tým väčšia zloha.
Či? Bodaj by to všade bolo tak ako v lekárniach, doktor Max. Tu za svoje body, ktoré zbierate pri nákupoch, získate vždy väčšie a väčšie zľavy. S novým, lepším vernostným programom Dr. Max Club. Ste v dobrých rukách.
Now I would like to tell you a few words about our lab of consumer studies at the Faculty of Economics and Management, Slovak University of Agriculture. The laboratory consists of the main room and the control room. The main room serves the marketing, management, and economics research using biometric and neuroimaging devices, as I mentioned before. It consists of 4 parts. Unfortunately, first part I don't have a picture, but it is the simulated sales area for detailed examinations of the purchasing processes and decision making when selecting the product. Second is multifunction sensory table. You can see on the first picture with implicit feedback retrieval for examining the perceptions of the products, packaging, design, and used materials. The second is aroma diffuser for studying the impact of aromas of human perceptions and preferences. And the last one is the universal space for the research of ads, websites, and online applications, as you can see before with the test ads in Slovak language. On this slide, you can see some practical examples from real testing in our laboratory. We have tested different flavors of biscuits. For example, cocoa, milk, coconut, peanuts, because in our country is a typical flavor peanuts from this company, but they sell another flavors in foreign markets. So they wanted to know if people like it in our country too. For example, another test with the comparison of domestics and foreign tomatoes and different aromas in special, and then we test different aromas in our special aroma box, how people react, for example, on strawberry cream aroma or chocolate cream, some coffees aromas, and then which are the better for people feeling are implemented in real conditions. For example, in some restaurants, petrol stations, and etc. Of course, now with the situations with pandemic, we focus in this area on antibacterial aromas because in different types of business, for example, some trades, productions, and services. In many times, people focus on this type of antibacterial of aromas and how it is with emotions and etc. The laboratory also includes 2 technologies for research in real conditions, which are the subject of European patent applications. The first is the technology for collecting neuromarketing data, which may be in the form of shopping cart, usable wherever it is natural to move with the shopping cart, or the special research vest, which is used for testing in orders areas. And for example, if I can tell you more about this technology, special research based. It is technology for gathering neuromarketing data from real conditions, and it is the combination services which are available on the market. For example, like traditional eye tracking, electroencephalography, facial expressions, skill galvanic response with the services which are not available on the market. For example, the measuring the factors of environment, movement trajectory, and it is the putting into one complex. And of course, it is compared with the traditional research method, for example, some interviews with the people and etc. So we can detect the real emotions of people because we use minimum free methods for detect customers' emotions. For example, electroencephalography, skill galvanic response, and electrocardiography. We are able to use in every conditions. Yeah, for example, some ergonomy stores, bank branches, services, etc. And we can see how the factors of environment can influence the emotions. So it is not only about the marketing stimuli, but only about the factors of environment. For example, lighting, music, some sounds on air quality and at the conditions. And now I would like to show you the video which this process is done. And maybe before it, please look on the movie. There are all processes how can we use our technologies in practice.
This is Bob. Bob's just a regular customer who comes to your shop. However, he often overlooks special offers while wandering about the shop and ends up leaving with only a small purchase inside his bag. If we could only look into Bob's head, we would know how he feels and how characteristics inside the shop influences the way he shops. We finally know. With this technology, not only do we know where Bob is and what he's checking out, we can also record the influence of other factors, such as light, noise, sound, color, and temperature inside the shop. The whole idea is very simple. Our team will measure the unique values of the shop setting and subconscious reactions of the customers in real time. After analyzing the data, we'll prepare a detailed report with recommendations on how to simply alter your shop in such a way that Bob feels more comfortable inside the shop, to notice the products that you want to sell, and to spend more time shopping than looking. In the end, Bob will leave happier with a bag full of purchases he's bought. And not just Bob, but Lucy, Frank, and Fred as well.
The name of this technology is SAMO. SAMO means the Simple Automatic Merchandising Operator. Now you can see in the next slide video how it works in food sector. The main idea of the research was to compare a different store design concept before reconstructions and after reconstructions. Of course, as I mentioned before, we can use it everywhere. So next video is non-food sector. The main idea of the research was the testing humanoid robot at the bank branches. The main idea of the research was to find out how people react on humanoid robot, which call paper. And here you can see some outputs, some examples of the outputs from this technology. So first, the trajectory of movement. We can identify the least and the most visited sales departments. We have the store layout, and we can identify these areas. The results show the customers have visited some categories, for example, of drinks departments, parts of the bakery departments, alcohol, office supplies, part of toys, garden supplies. The second graph is the average of movement. We can identify the departments within which the customers move the fastest. The optional speed of movement when a person is able to perceive the merchandising good is maximum 0.25 meters per second. Higher speeds may indicate reduced perceptions of display goods. And here you can see a heat map presents the aggregated data denouncing the visual attentions of respondents, especially in terms of number and length of the time spent eye viewing. And of course, the warmer the color, the longer and the greater the amount of consumer views. And here, fixation dots, as I mentioned before, the number in dots indicates the order. The dots indicate the spent fixations viewing time, and different colors are different participants or respondents of the research. Frustrations map. As I mentioned, we measure emotions. So frustrations map is the output from these measures, indicates the stress level of concern caused by the stimuli. Higher values in same cases are also result from unconscious impact of influences such as environmental factors, for example, lighting, music, air quality. The map presents the average values for the whole department, and therefore the detail view is here. So here you can see general information from store layout about the customer's frustrations. But for example, according to the legend, you can see the areas with the higher level of frustrations. For example, here it is the department of fruits, and then you can check it in more detail, and more detail you can see here. What was the problem? The problem was some areas without the vegetables and fruits, and waiting this product, etc. So that's all from my, and thank you for your attentions, and don't hesitate to ask me the questions or contact me via email if you have some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jakub Percik, for your interesting presentation and for your sharing on the methods of research on neuromarketing. That was very interesting. So we have time to invite participants to address questions to Dr. Lee or perhaps to Professor Horsky or to Dr. Percik. Right. If it seems that there has not been participants who are going to address questions, now I have an illustration. The current situation in Indonesia. And it is interesting to see the blessing in disguise of pandemic situation, which people to make use ICT more than ever. In Indonesia, there are a significant increase of online transaction and business during COVID-19 pandemic. We can see the coffee shop business is a trend now in Indonesia, the coffee shop business. And in Indonesia, there is an interesting movement occurring thanks to the pandemic. Ever since there are government policy to stay at home, a lot of coffee shop is selling a new product. So basically they are evolved to adapt with the situation by selling new product with 1 liter coffee instead of normal size cup of coffee. Not only producing new product, they are now using e-commerce platform to market its product. Their adaptation to the situation is very drastic. Now, my question is, what is your opinion regarding with this phenomenon? Does it also happen in your country, Dr. Bercik?
Yes, in our country, the situation is the same. For example, we start to use e-commerce in this area, in this type of services, and I'm not sure if the products will change, but the way how people can order it was changed, because, for example, McDonald's in our country changed the selling coffees in drive-in, and before the pandemic situations that there was no possibility to buy coffees, and of course some small restaurants focus on selling the coffees, for example, by delivery, and in many times people can use some applications for ordering, and of course there is a very big change in the communications, because people start to communicate with their customers about the safety that people can use, for example, mobile applications or some web sites, and order the products very safely and very quickly. So this is the phenomenon in our country, and we can see it.
Seems that there is, thank you, Dr. Bercik. And it seems that one participant is going to ask question. Please, Mr. Iman Sunhaji, you have time to deliver or to address your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Ikhwan. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to greet my colleague, Professor Elena from Slovakia University of Agriculture. Hello, Professor Elena. How are you? Okay, so maybe I can speak a little bit Slovak language. Dobrý den, aku Samate. Okay, Professor Elena, as far as we know, right, that every country now is facing this economic turbulence, and we know that this economic growth in every country in the entire world is not impressive at the moment. So I have a question for you. I would like to know about your perspective or your opinion. if you become Indonesian, and now you are maybe as a decision makers. So how about this question? How should we support? How should we support farmers and our farmers organization in the next month? If this uncertain condition regarding this pandemic COVID-19 is steady like this, and also how we prevent this uncertain condition within the health crisis now becoming the food crisis. So this is about my question, and hope that you can give your perspective. Ďakujem.
Nech sa páči. Dobrý deň, pekné popoludnie. Good afternoon from Slovakia again. Nice to hear some Slovak language from Indonesia. Your question is very much connected with my thoughts I wanted to discuss with this audience in reaction to moderator of this event, that how businesses and governments react and what are the changes in the society. I guess because of lockdown, we can see problems, let's say, in distribution system, movement of people around the world, problems with crossing the borders, which was actually not allowed in Slovakia for almost more than 1 month. Then we see that it's a very crucial question to be asked, and it's a question of self-sufficiency of agriculture. And now we are in stress because of international competitiveness and other economic indicators. We are very much focused on international trade and import of commodities we are able to produce in Slovakia. And during Corona crisis, I guess also our government, and what is very important, also media and consumers realize how important is support local business. And local farmers are part of local business. So what usually we did during lockdown, we ordered food from, let's say, Tesco, large retails, supermarket in Nitra city, or we went once a week to avoid or to keep social distances to Tesco, Billa, again to large supermarket, because we wanted to buy everything within 1 hour for 1 week. But we saw everyday bankruptcy of several small shops or several small producers. So now, yes, there is a tendency to think how to support local businesses, including local farmers. And I guess this issue is a part of Green Deal, so European Environmental Agreement policy of the European Union, because to support local farmer means that we support the local infrastructure, we support environment, we support nature, and with buying local products we can give a job to local people. So it is like one circle. When we buy one yogurt from local farm, then we support producer, and producer will have resources to buy other stuff. So I would say that this is very important to understand that what we can do with better awareness. So what kind of, I don't know how to say, priorities to have when we are doing shopping. So one way is maybe, okay, we have to be very rational. We have to buy products as cheap as possible, as fast as possible, but then we omit such important things which from which we will suffer from long-term point of view. And I guess also in Indonesia, you have many local farmers, and you can, but it's not only question of local farmers, it's a question of local stores, small stores, neighborhood stores. So when they are in bankruptcy, we say, okay, we are sorry, but the question is, what can we do as customers to support local businesses?
Yes.
And I guess this is the mission, or this is the message we can support nowadays.
Thank you, Professor Elena, for your explanation, and wish you many luck and success. Dziękujemy mnohokrát.
Dziękujemy, ja. All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Iman Sunhaji, and he has been studying in Slovak a long time ago. And thank you, Professor Elena, and also Dr. Bacik for their answers. Now, let me step to proceed to the next speaker. We still have one more and last speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, our last and the prettiest speaker from Indonesia, Ibu Irina Mildawati, PhD. Dr. Irina Mildawati, PhD, is a lecturer at Department of Architecture of Universitas Gunadarma. And she will deliver her presentation with the topic, the use of IT in multimedia, graphic design in the field of architecture, a case in KLA program in Universitas Gunadarma. Ibu Irina, the floor is yours.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Yes, Ibu
Okay.
Irina.
Thank you. Good morning in Slovakia, good day in Malaysia, and good afternoon in Indonesia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and his peaceful blessings upon us all. So first of all, I would like to greet our distinguished guest, Professor Elena, and then also Professor Leva, and also Dr. Jacob Berti. Ladies and gentlemen, all honorable colleagues and dear students of Universitas Gunadarma and other university, also institutions who are joining this international webinar. First of all, allow me to send my gratitude to the Rector of Universitas Gunadarma, Professor Dr. A.S. Marganti, SAMM, for assigning me to be one of the speakers of this international webinars. I would like to say my appreciation also to the Vice Rectors of Universitas Gunadarma, Dr. Rafi Asalim, Professor Suryadi Harmanto, MMSE, Dr. Irwan Bastian, Eskom MMSE, and Professor Dr. Didin Mukhodim, MM. I would like to appreciate the Dean of Faculties of Civil Engineering and Planning, Dr. Insinyur Razik Hassan, MTRs, Head of the Department of Architecture, Dr. Insinyur Arif Rahman, MT, and Head of Master Degree of Architecture Program, Dr. Insinyur Pancawati Dewi, MT, and last but not least, the Director of Graduate Master's Program in Technology and Engineering, Dr. Tubagus Maulana Kusuma, Eskom MMSE. As well as the Chair of Organizing Committee, Dr. Asti Darmayanti, MMSE, and the UC team from Rectorate Office staffs that I cannot mention one by one, without whom this international webinar would not be able to be conducted. Can you see my presentation? Okay, so this webinar discussed about the insight of technology to the global world, which influences all sectors of life and disciplines, including architecture. My presentation is titled Architecture from UG to See the World Through KLA. With what I mean with the UG is Universitas Gunadarma and KLA is Kuliah Lapangan Architecture, or this field study on architecture. That is part of the course held in the Department of Study Program of Architecture at the Faculty of Civil Engineering and Planning, Universitas Gunadarma. So first of all, I would like to share the milestones of the Department of Architecture and Magister Program of Architecture at the Universitas Gunadarma. So the initiation of the undergrad study program of architecture started in October 1996 with one class of the students. With the growing number of the students, in August 2001, Gunadarma opened the 3 parallel classes of the architecture. And with the increasing number of students, in October 2012, we opened 7 parallel classes, including in campus Karawaci, outside Depok. So after that, in November 2018, we opened the Magister Program of Architecture. The total students of architecture is around 1,000, and that number makes us the largest number of architecture students in Indonesia. How can we manage this large number of students? And how can we make ourselves significant from the outsider to start? We try to send and support these students to various design competitions to see how far can we go among other universities in design and ICT capability in Industrial Revolution 4.0. And the architecture students of UG have won various competitions. Starting from 2013, they have won several professional design competitions, such as Nippon Paint Young Designer in 2013 and 2015, and also the Lomba Concept and Schematic Design Architecture, or this concept competition on design schematic on architecture in 2014, Paradesk in 2016 and 2019, Asian Young Design Award in 2016, and Indonesia Landscape Design Competition, ILDC, at the IPB University 2017. So the winners, of course, they have possessed the IT skills and competencies that support the students' team to reach their goals, because extraordinaries, to become extraordinaries and keep up with the speedy development and freedom of learning. So to open the perspectives of architecture students, starting from 2005, Department Architecture of UG initiates the KLA, or Kuliah Lapangan Arsitektur, to various interesting places all over the world. For example, to Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Beijing, Dubai, Turkey, Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, and Uzbekistan. So during the KLA, or the field study, the students observe the unique heritage buildings as well as modern building and the destination. And they take pictures, they record video, and also sometimes they do interview with the key persons. And also we visit the local university or institutes, such as in Turkey. in ITU in Turkey, and also in Swinburne University in Sarawak, Malaysia. After all the field observation, the students should make a report and also present the video with animation in their certain topics on the destination object. At the end of the semester, the students should submit their video to be assessed and valued in a competition. And then they present their video, and we have given them reward. And for several years, it's being recorded and also recognition in the national competition. So from UG to see the world through KLA, what are the benefits? We can see first, we have enhanced the students to enhance students' knowledge and perspectives on global architecture. The second, to implement of curriculum according to the SKKNI 64/2016, which is the framework of competition or competencies, and also work at place. It's according to the government policies. And the third is to initiate international collaboration. So I would like to share you some example of this KLA video on KLA, and also about the IT or ICT program that support this KLA to be presented. This is Turkey. We went there around 2017. This is Cumalikisik, which is a very old village, and it is a UNESCO heritage, and already 700 years, and the inhabitants still do the same habits. And to Macau and Hong Kong, the students can see the colonial building in Asia. And after that, we can see in Dubai, the students can see the tallest building in the world, which is Burj Al Khalifa, around 800 meters high. So they learn something new. And we went to Uzbekistan this year, and we learned about heritage buildings, also UNESCO heritage buildings, and very, very interesting. And now we can see about this ICT, the software that support the students in doing the workshop and also the design studio. One of the project developed is Irina Wiener Osmanova Rhythmic Gymnastics Center, completed in 2019, which is in Moscow's Luzhniki Olympic Complex. As you can see, this features virtually transformable tribunes and VIP boxes. And its appearance conveys a unique form roof shape resembling the wave of gymnastic ribbon. This is Revit, another software in architecture design that also the students can learn from the laboratory and studio practice. So what can IT program do to architecture? We can see from the point of view of their students. They say that with Archicad, they're confident to design their project since it has been developed further with BIM. And Agisoft can do visual translation of drawings like magic, as you can see in the video before. And BIM, or Building Information Modeling, has officially inspired him to collaborate architecture and engineering construction project. A single form from concept to documentation. So the video that we saw previously was the project that won the BIM 2016 in Russian competition in the BIM project sport facilities category, and demonstrates the successful use of the open BIM approach and design. The exchange data of data and information between software platforms was carried out during the Open IFC format developed by Building Smart. The architectural part of project was carried out as the main tools for design development and construction documentation were Archicad, Rhinoceros, and Grasshopper. The final demo model was done in Archicad with nested X files. The complex design of the roof was created in Rhinoceros or Grasshopper. Its structural and engineering solution were developed in motor by the companies that we saw here. So this one is really our campus. As you know, that Gunadarma has several campuses, around 14 campus that have mentioned by Professor Dr. S. Margianti, our rector. And this one is the building that has been the background of her appearance today. This is the development of Hospital of Gunadarma University, and also the Faculty of Medicine, which is our latest or new faculty in Gunadarma. So this project was has been being drawn and also has been constructed by the lecturers and also the students from Gunadarma University by themselves. So from civil engineering and collaboration with the architecture department and also from IT department. So we come to the conclusion. So I would like to say that KL is a showcase for result of our observation on international project on architecture and ICT skills and competencies, support to open an international perspective for students. Both are to support the opportunities for students and the institutions or universities to gain the utmost of our human resources potential as decided by the government as educational platform on Freedom Campus. As we know that our Ministry of Education and Culture has decided to make Freedom Campus, which make us, which can collaborate with any other campus and program from other countries as well. So I think this is from my presentation, I would like to give it back to Mr. Moderator, Dr. Iwan Suyudi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Irina Mildawati. Now we come to the question and answer from the participants. I invite participants to address questions to the panelists or speakers. Ibu Irina just explained to us about the use of multimedia, graphic design, and architecture, a case in field study program in architecture department, Universitas Gunadarma. It seems that there has not been a participant who is going to address question. So I have a question to Dr. Jacob Perchik. Yeah. We just listened to Dr. Irina explaining about the use of multimedia in the design of study in architecture department program. Then how can we combine, or is there any possibility to combine neuromarketing research and the in architecture design? Dr. Jacob Perchik.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, I think, yes, it is possible to combine neuromarketing with architectural design, because in many times, for example, in marketing, we use neuromarketing for measuring how people react on design, for example, in web space, web areas. So I think, yes, it is possible, because we can see how the people react on this stimuli from the architecture with using eye tracking, so we can see the visual attentions of people, what is for people more attractive, where was the first fixations, the spend time of fixations, number of revisits of people to some architectural stimuli, and of course very important are emotions, how people feel, what they see. And of course we can do this type of research in some simulations. For example, we have some simulations of buildings and some architectural design, and then what is very useful, we can see how people react in real conditions, maybe some simulated spaces, and then after building in real concepts. So yes, it is possible, and it is maybe new area for collaborations.
Right. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Perchik. What do you think, Ibu Irina Mildawati, related with the possibility to have collaboration between neuromarketing and also architecture design?
Yes, thank you. I think it's very important for architecture in collaboration with any other disciplines, because all activities that human made is taking place in some place. So you need room, you need place, you need facility to support your activities. Of course, they all need architecture to design, and also in collaboration with the research as well. I just would like to ask the Dr. Jacob actually, the research that you put in the supermarket, I saw, like people were value about what they like, what they don't like, is the position, like interesting or not to see or to grab the thing in the supermarket. And it's interesting that you put the sensor, right? I think you put the sensor with the jacket so that you can see the reaction of people. If anything is not in the right place, or they don't like the composition of the showcase of the supermarket, they will react. And I think you cannot improve the room without collaboration with architect, I bet. Is it correct, Dr. Jacob? Yes, so that's why I would like to ask how many architects involved in your research before, because I see there is a significant improvement in the place in the supermarket that you put the research. They made a significant design, a new design, and very more interesting design. And I think it can't be completed without the support or collaboration with architects. That's what I think.
Yeah, that is true that in a team it is necessary to have the architecture, because as I mentioned before, the collaboration is very important, not only with the psychologists, IT specialists and neurologists, but of course with the architect. But what is important in our research, that the main task was just to compare how people react on store design before reconstructions and then after reconstructions, because this retail store has a very big problem that people don't like the store layout or store concept after reconstruction. So we don't collaborate with the architect directly, but yes, the retail store has in team concept architecture which created some changes according our measures. So it was not directly collaboration, but indirect collaboration.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Berchik, and also Dr. Irina. I have got a message from YouTube. There is one question. This is addressed to Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee, are you still with us?
Yes.
All right, yes. There is one question from YouTube. In Industry 4.0, the scale of companies no longer guarantee success. But how company responds to change does. Small, medium enterprises and cooperatives, therefore, should be prepared with the change. What is developing now is economic pairing, where business players not compete but establish partnership. They say partnership is the key success in adapting to the change. Could you give your insights regarding with this? What do you think? This will be challenge. Okay.
Yes, that is true, because a lot of studies paper shows that size doesn't matter anymore, because opportunity, borderless and globalizations, and the next is personalized production, because people want something which is special for them. So this one is all limit the mass productions by a big company. So meaning that a small SME who has the strength as what I showed just now will become a very important for the next 5-10 years. So they will survive. But the thing here is you need a connectivity. You need like what I mentioned just now. You need partnership. And the partnership, you cannot be travel all the time from here to the other country. So you need to do it digitally. And then because of the data confidentiality and sovereignty, you need to have a trustworthiness between company to company. So meaning that someone has to build this ecosystem for this to scale, scale globally. So that is how to ensure that the SME, a small company, can be also grow. in this coming Industrial Revolution 4.0. Yeah.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Lee, for the answer. Now, I invite participants to address questions. All right, yeah. We still have time. Now, to all of the panelists, this is, it seems this will be the last question from me. To all of the panelists, what is your insight of a non-IT person in adapting to the current demand of mastering the capabilities of using IT? What is your insight of a non-IT person in adapting to the current demand of mastering the capabilities of using technology? Yeah, I will start from Prof. Elena.
Very tricky question. Yes, it's not the easy life, I think. When we compare my generation, older generation, and now young generation, I guess we try to adapt as much as possible. Non-IT person, I don't see it as very perspective. So at least some basic IT skills to survive and feel comfortable and feel at a certain level to discuss and survive in society. So there are many aspects of the life where we really need to have certain IT skills. Mm-hmm. I can say that it's also my problem, or I try to do my personal development, self-education, to keep myself on a certain level. So that's from my side, how I feel, because you asked about my internal feeling about this.
All right, yeah. Thank you, Professor Elena. Dr. Lee, do you have any idea about this?
Okay. Regarding refer to the law of the consulting company like Deloitte, Pricewaterhouse. Their report shows that Industrial 4.0 is not about technology. It's about culture change, about strategy. Because if you look at the digital transformation, 25% to 30% only technology. Almost 70 to 80% are all culture and business strategy. So we not only look at technology too seriously, okay? It doesn't mean that you must convert the whole factory become robot, then you are in IR 4.0 or Industrial 4.0. It's not about, that's why you can see my slide definition of Industrial 4.0 never mention about robot, never mention about fully automation. It's mentioned about how to do business, okay, in this IT era now. Okay, so supply chain to create value and create the value stream are more important than automation of the whole factory, which may not give you ROI if you invest 10, 20 million into it. That is Germany's point of view. I totally agree. I totally agree. Then the second thing will be personalized. Okay, personalized. Okay, that's one direction. The other one here is because if you want to involve culture change and a business strategy, you need a lot of personalization. Meaning that you need to tell people how to, how to tailor the knowledge and the understanding of Industrial 4.0 from level to level. You cannot feed unrelevant information to the unrelevant people because you scare them away. That's the reason why I said we must have a personalized online learning portal to select the right module, the right information to deliver to the right person. Okay, business, only people adopt Industrial 4.0 because of desperate, because business, when the business come to their doorstep, too desperately, because it's a business whether grow or die. That's until that kind of stage, then you think about change. But building the ecosystem, you need time, because it's not only technology. You buy all the machine coming in, all the robot coming in, may not be successful also anyway. So you have to build from a very beginning, start before the challenge come to the doorstep. That is I want to address. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Yes, now Dr. Jacob Perchik.
Yes, I think it is necessary to help them with the basic level of IT, because it is the same situations with the telephones. Before, non-IT people don't use it, and maybe older people have a problem with the smartphones and telephones. But in the time they started to use it, because it is something necessary to have telephone, and it is in IT are at the same situation. So maybe they have to start with some basic level, and on the other hand, on the side of business, it is about optimizations of this process to do them more efficiency and comfortable for them. So that's all.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Perchik. Yeah, Dr. Irina.
Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to say that we are grateful actually that UG is starting from the beginning has acknowledged that we are ICT-based university. That makes us has a responsibility, I think, to support the community, the people, the nation, the government to spread out the ICT capabilities and also accessibilities for the people. Because in Indonesia, we have 16,000 islands, the archipelago, and more than 250 million people with a very big gap in educational level and also economic level and also IT access level. So I think it's very hard. Not the people reject or they are religion or reluctant to access the IT, but maybe they don't have the capability to access, and they don't have the economic level or educational level to access the ICT. So this is our responsibility actually to help the people, the nation, the government with the Freedom Campus that was announced by the Ministry of Education and Culture, that we have open access. So we can access material or study program from other campus, and also the remote areas campus, the remote areas university, the remote areas villages, they can access our program. And this will, I think it will help and accelerate, the accessibility of ICT for the whole nation. I think it will take some time, but I believe it will be done with the approaching of the golden years, like around 2030, we will have the golden age with the productive age of millennial ages. And now they are actually starting to take role to participate in the development of nation, and also, like to make Indonesia a greater country, and also take a better role in the global world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Irina Mirdawati, for the insights, and also to all of the panelists. Thank you. I have one last question, and this is from YouTube live session question. And this is the question is addressed to the organizing committee. This must be a very interesting question. How does your university organize this lovely program? Have you collected money from students? Do you have any sponsor to send them? That was the question from Miss Ana Susanti from Muhammadiyah University, West Sumatra. Sumatra is another island in Indonesia. Okay, so I want Ibu Asti dan Maryanti from the organizing committee to answer her question. Ibu Asti.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ikhwan. Can you see? Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm also acting as the technical teams as well. So first of all, I would like to thank to our speakers for your time and also for the sharing of knowledge that you have done. It's very exciting for us. And so how we can organize such program is because of the great support of our uni as well. And also by the commitments of our partners, which to continuously grow together. And for that, as Dr. Lee said, that in this kind of situations and this kind of era, it's not possible to continuously grow without any collaborations with partners. So it comes from the commitments of partners. Even with the TAR-UC itself, we don't have any MOU agreement yet, but yeah, we can achieve these kind of events. So I think that's part of how we can organize these programs. And the second one about the fee for programs in Gunadarma itself, we cannot collect money from for seminars for students. It's regulated in our university. Therefore, to host such a program, it's free. Anyone can join. Anyone can register to our platform to have these sessions. And we also are having these sessions in YouTube Live. Therefore, if anyone would like to revisit the knowledge that have been shared, then it's very possible. So maybe if you still have questions about the international collaborations, that I would like to invite Dr. Madi Wiryana. He is the one responsible for our international collaborations officers. Please, Dr. Madi.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you can hear my voice. For the international collaboration, our international program for our students, we always try to work together with our partners, so the cost will be minimum. So the goal is we don't put a lot of cost to our student. If it's possible, it should be covered by the scholarship from Gunadarma, or we work together with our partners. So for example, when we send our student to Nitra with Professor Elena Research and with Jakub, I think it's several years ago, we sent our master program, we sent our PhD program. So we collaborate, so the guest house and some cost it will be waived, so free, and then student get the living allowance from our Gunadarma University scholarship. So the idea is we try to minimize the cost for the student. And for the program like the international excursion from the architects, so the student try to save the money, and Gunadarma University will do the deal, so it can be arranged with the really economic price and really cost effective, and the other cost, it will be covered by the Gunadarma University. So for the student, they also provided by several scholarship from Gunadarma, and we hope that the cost will not be a barrier for students who want to have the international experience with our partners. So basically the concept is The cost comes later, but the programs come first. So if the student, the research partner has the programs, we can try to find the funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mahdi from International Office of Gunadarma University, and also Dr. Asti Darmayanti as the chair of this organizing committee. Thank you for your answer. It seems I have to wait for the question from the audience. Ibu Asti, do we have time?
Ini nggak bisa ini. Oh, oke.
Okay, yeah. It seems that we have to stop now. Is that correct, Bu Asti? Yes. Yes. Before we leave the session, we are going to have photo session together. We are going to take photo together.